You fought well yesterday. Your style is unorthodox.
Scorpio.
Oh, good morning. Good morning, Yankees universe, and welcome back to another episode of the Yankees Morning Brew on this Friday, December 13th. Grace, I'm back home. I'm back home in New York City. I'm back in the 718 area code. I am back. I had touched down. How are you feeling, Grace?
I feel so far away from you, Hector. Texas already misses you, you know?
Yeah.
I could feel the essence of one less Yankees fan being around me here in Texas, and honestly, it hurt. It hurt. But I'm trying to move on, but I'm glad you made it home safe, and it was an awesome time having you in Texas.
Yeah, no, it was an awesome time period. The vibes are amazing. The content was great. Being able to meet a lot of the people that work for Major League Baseball and, you know, a lot of the insiders as well, you know, the Jeff Passons of the world. It was a lot of guys out there that I grew up watching when I was in high school and got me into this and was able to rub elbows with them. You know, Jack Curry, you know, Meredith Marakovich, Bob Lorenz, and everybody from the Yes Network, the different executives as well. It was an amazing time. Grace, I know you had a great time being able to meet Brian Hoke and Jack Curry to get your book signed. So talk about that real quick. We got two other guests that are backstage, two dope guests that I look forward to having this convo with. Let's talk about that, Grace, and then we'll bring them up.
Yeah, as y'all know, I'm a huge bookworm, and I have my whole bookshelf here I have so many books on the New York Yankees that I've read over the years. And right here I have my Jack Curry 1998 Yankees, and right behind it I've got the Bronx Zoom by Brian Hoke. And the morning that I went up to the winter meetings, I just thought, you know, I'm going to bring these books, and I'm just going to see if I run into these guys, I'll have them sign their books. Y'all, I ended up running into both of them. So I had both of these books in my bag. I actually brought Buster Olney's Last Night of the Yankees Dynasty as well, but I ended up leaving it in the car because my purse was heavy, y'all. I was lugging, but I was like, let me
Felt like you was carrying bricks.
Yeah.
It kind of looked like that.
Plus, I didn't know if Buster was there, so I was like, I think I know Jack is there and Brian's there. And I ended up running into both of them, met both of them. They're both fantastic people, super kind, super nice. So I got both my books signed. They're right here. I'm so proud. So it was an amazing experience.
Listen, for me, being able to share a moment with Jeff Passan at the bar, being able to talk wrestling with him, you know, going over some wrestling memes, was hilarious, right? So we got two guests, like I said, talking about wrestling. I know my guy Theo Al is a big fan of wrestling, right? So we got Pete Kennedy, Theo Al from WFAN will be joining us. I got a video that I want to play because this is going to be the tone of the conversation, right? I know you guys saw some of it. I touched it up just a little bit. Now let's go.
Glad to see that. Told you. Tag team specialists.
See, one without the other isn't any good. Oh, I knew he was going to do that. I just knew he was going to do that. He don't need Jannetty. I told you that off and on.
Are you kidding? What a despicable act that was.
No! Oh, my God.
Right through the glass window.
And now, welcome to the conversation, Theo Al and Pete Kennedy from WFAN. Fellas, how are you doing?
I'm great. And let me just say two things. One, Gorilla, I knew a year ago Soto was going to do that, and I've been saying it forever. And two, I just want to say, Grace, that one less Yankee fan around me is a beautiful thing. So thank you very much.
Pete, how you feeling, Pete?
I'm feeling good. I cannot say I had the confidence that Al had. In fact, like his confidence in Soto signing with the Mets is what actually got me over the hump. I remember coming into the fan the first day of the offseason. I'm working. I'm like, all right, Yankee fans are going to be calling saying, we got to get this guy. Yankee fans calling in. We don't need him. He can't play. He can't run the base. I'm like, wait, what? What's happening right now? It's not what I expected. And then Al comes in hot, 2 a.m. Yo, Juan Soto's going to be a Met. I was like, oh, wait, hold on. And then it just came to fruition over time. I'm thrilled, and I know we're going to break it all down, but I'm ecstatic. I just didn't have the confidence that Al did.
Yeah. Pete, Theo, I know, Theo, Al, I was telling you some of the timeline, right? On Sunday when I got there, I went over with Grace and people in the chat. But for Pete and for those out there, when I got there on Sunday, right, it was like 1, 2 o'clock. I got to the hotel, was able to get my press pass, checking in. The vibes the entire time I was there, from when I got there to about like 5:30 Dallas time, was Juan Soto's re-signing with the Yankees. That's what everybody felt. Juan Soto's re-signing with the Yankees. And then I sent you the picture, Al, the guy, Ethan, who works with the Mets, like media and PR guy. I met him a bunch of times. I saw him walking through the lobby with his team, and they had the only big energy, squad goal energy, smile on their face. And I'm like, oh, something's gonna happen. This is not a good feeling for Yankee fans. And then the news came out, and then David Stern came to the hotel later that night. I had to congratulate him. Everybody was congratulating him, Ethan, and the entire Mets organization. And listen, you guys got one, right? You guys got one. I know, this is one thing I've been telling Yankee fans. I know you guys may feel some type of way, but if you're a Met fan right now, talk your ish. Walk around the city with your chest sticking out, because I'm going to tell you, as a Yankee fan, and Grace probably would be guilty of it as well, if the roles were reversed, we would be doing the same thing that most Met fans are doing right now. Grace, wait,
hold on one second. Wait, if the roles are reversed, my brother, how many decades have the roles been reversed? And Yankee fans have rubbed the Mets nose in dog shit, bear shit, cat shit, horse shit, and rubbed our faces in it. And now all of a sudden, we get the one. I know he's a big one, but we get one from you guys, and it's the world's coming to an end.
Well, those aren't real Yankee fans, right? Like Grace Monroe, she's a real diehard Yankee fan. Go ahead, Grace, and then throw it over to Pete.
Well, I have to say, living in Texas my entire life, I've never actually met a Mets fan until I started being on the internet as a Yankees kind of content creator personality. Now I have lots of Mets fans that are friends, but I don't see them in my day-to-day life. Now, I see Red Sox fans, and we fight. I see Astros fans, and we go round and round. I see Rangers fans, okay, but I never see Mets fans. So my perspective on this is a little bit different probably than Hector's, or somebody who grew up or lives in the city and has to see like families divided, relationships divided, people fighting all the time over, who's on top at that time. I don't have that out here. For me, I feel like Pete, to your point, I feel like the Yankees cope started early. We started kind of feeling, oh, wait a minute. Actually, the pinstripes don't mean anything to Juan Soto. The Monument Park isn't going to mean it's not meaning what we thought it was going to mean. And we started kind of feeling that. And I think that's when the conversation started turning to, his defense, he's not a good defender. He's not a good base runner. Those two things might be objectively true. However, they didn't matter to us 3 weeks ago, and now they do. So I definitely called out the Yankees fans, and I love all my Yankees family. I love us all. We're crazy. But I did say, y'all, why are we coping already? It's not over until it's over. But that being said, the entire time that we had Juan Soto in the Bronx, we knew it was for 1 year. And everyone, MLB Network, ESPN, Michael K even, like everybody was saying he's going to be a Met next year. He's going to go to the highest bidder. So it's not as if we were like totally blindsided. And it's not as if he was Aaron Judge, who came up through the system and was a baby bomber, right, and was one of our own in our family. So it's a complicated situation, but congratulations. Juan Soto is an incredible at-bat. You guys are going to absolutely love watching him. He never takes an at-bat off. He plays every day like it's the postseason. It's an incredible thing to watch. Congrats on getting him, but Yankees forever. Don't get it wrong. Don't get it twisted.
I'm going to throw it over to Pete. Before I do that, shout out to Big Ant NYC with the $5 super chat. Appreciate you helping me keep the lights on over here, helping us buy some anime as well. But he says, welcome back home, buddy. Much love from Bayamon PR. Do you think Tucker and Bellinger happen soon? Soto looking like Panda and his pressure. First of all, Soto look fire and his press thing. Pete, I'm gonna throw it over to you. I just gotta say, I just love the fact that whenever Al is sipping his coffee, he purposely puts the Mets logo to the camera before sipping it. So go ahead, Pete, and then throw it over to Al because I know he got something to say. Go ahead.
I love it. Now, honestly, I came in here thinking we're going to have some nice debate with the Yankee fans, me and Al versus the two Yankee fans. And you guys sound like the rational ones. You guys are being the rational Yankees.
True.
Because the reality of this entire situation is that if Juan Soto signed with the Yankees, every single Yankee fan would have completely flipped for the third time and said this was the best signing. Look at the 1-2, best duo in baseball, XYZ. We know that's how it would have went down. And now that he's a lot of Yankee fans coming out of the trees, coming out of the woodworks over here, saying, oh, man, well, just wait till you see him play right field. Guess what? I don't care. He plays 160 games every single year. And guess what? If he gets a little bit thicker, let's get that to 45 home runs, 50 home runs. I'm for it. I watched this guy take at-bats for years as a National and then last year as a Yankee. You know the competitor, the dog inside of this dude is next level. Yeah, of course. The money helps a ton. We know he was going for a bag and he deserved it. But you can't watch this guy play baseball and then expect that he's going to all of a sudden be like, yeah, I'm good. I'm not going to care about hitting anymore. I'm not going to care about being one of the top 20 hitters of all time, which is where he ranks as an OPS hitter in all time. We're talking the Babe Ruths, the Lou Gehrig's, whatever. Juan Soto, top 20. So I'm glad y'all are rational. I appreciate it so much. We're not going to maybe have the hard debate that I thought we were going to have, because to me, it's so obvious. Everybody who was putting a bid in desperately wanted this player, including the Yankees. So Yankee fans who are acting like we didn't actually want him, baloney. You gave him 16 years, $760 million. You clearly wanted the guy. Okay. Yeah. So to that point, I'm thrilled he's in my lineup. I'm thrilled I get to watch him play 162 like he does every single year. And I'm thrilled to have one of the best hitters in baseball in a lineup that was already good and should still get better.
Theo, Al, go ahead, brother. Because I saw
a couple of things. One,
you're like a child at Mickey.
Yeah, I'm on my second cup of Bustelo.
Yes, sir.
One thing, a couple of things. One, did you see the menu that was there for Juan Soto and his family and everybody had to eat? Of course his belly was going to be like this, bro. He feasted. He feasted. What was that? They had pernil, rice, arroz con gandules. They had everything there, bro. So of course,
when I was at Yankees Media Day for Hispanic Media Month, that food was banging.
Yeah, so he feasted, even had some dulce de leche, so maybe he's lactose and expanded his belly. So I don't even give a shit about that. Two, this Kung Fu Panda stuff, Panda was never on the same level as Juan Soto, so we can cut that crap out as well right now. Panda also had that little thing about being lazy, so to speak. Everyone was worried once he got paid, he was going to get lazy, and it happened. As far as the Yankee fans bitching and moaning and crying, you motherfuckers need to shut up, because for years, for decades as Met fans, we were the little bro. I can admit that. We dealt with a lot of shit, a good year here and there, and then getting our asses kicked. I grew up in this town when it was a Met town. You know, Yankee fans don't believe that are 25, 30 years old, but there was Doc and Daryl. Everything was Mets around the city. Queen, even in the Bronx, there was Mets stuff. I went to a Yankee game in '87. There was about 5,000 people there. You could hear rats fart in the upper deck. That's how empty it was in that damn stadium back in the day. As a Mets fan, I am proud this happened. Steve Cohen finally flexed. He said, enough with this deferred money bullshit the Dodgers getting who they're getting. Enough playing nice. Enough this, enough that. I didn't get a chance to meet Shohei Ohtani. I tied for Yamamoto's contract. But the big prize in all this, and I said it for over a year, when my guy was telling me this, that especially when that post on Instagram, 2019 it was, I think it was, when Soto has the post in a Nationals uniform looking at Citi Field, that's when stuff started to go. But my boy told me, who knows people in Juan Soto's inner circle, that Soto's going to be a Met. That's when I put it out there. And then in April, Soto loved Yankee Stadium. The fans, he has nothing against the fans. I'm going to make that perfectly clear. The fans were amazing to him. He loved the chants, the love, the way you guys serenaded him. And rightfully so. He's a great player. He loved it. That's why I'm glad he said what he said yesterday. This is about what happened to him behind the scenes. This is about the way he felt his family was disrespected. He didn't like that. This is about, he's waiting. He turned down $440 million for this moment. Anybody who's bashing this man for getting the biggest bag that you can possibly get in MLB history for now, because we all know it's going to be top down the road, that is insane. And anybody calling him out of shape, you motherfuckers, I see the people calling him out of shape. You motherfuckers need an LA Fitness membership, and it's $10 right now for the holiday season. So sign the fuck up.
That was Theo Al, right? The thoughts and views that have been expressed this morning, they solely reflect Al Cintron, right? That's that guy right there that's on the top. It doesn't reflect myself. It doesn't reflect Pete or Grace. But to your point, talking about Steve Cohen, right? And I'll throw it over to Grace and then Pete. for me, seeing that he's spending money like somebody who's a fan of a team, right? The consensus or after the signing of Juan Soto is that Steve Cohen needed to overpay in order to get him from the Yankees, right? And you see the difference in the money, 100 to 115. And I was actually Yankee fans. I'm asking, and I'm like, I'll be honest with you guys. If I was offered $115 million extra, I'm putting a Mets jersey on, just like Juan Soto did, right? And speaking with a senior Latino journalist who's been in the industry for like 20, 30 years down there, he said that this Juan Soto contract is not just about Juan Soto. It's about the other players that are in the union, and it's about the other Latino players that are coming after Juan Soto, right? Because when you have seen it, especially over the past 20, 30 years, there have been 3 Latino players, specifically Dominican players, that have been able to secure the bag. That's A-Rod, right, in free agency. That's Albert Pujols, and that's now Juan Soto, right? Outside of those 3 guys, when you're signed from DR, you're signed at 16 years old. But before you hit free agency, the team is already trying to hit you with a massive contract extension. Look at Julio Rodriguez. The Nationals tried to do it with Juan Soto. Acuna and Albies, they got criticized and crucified because of the contract extension that they took. Right?
Reyes with the Mets, right? Got it double what Reyes got.
So when you look at it, it's setting a new precedent for the Latino baseball player to maximize the most that they can get out of their talent, right? When you look at the dynamics and the inner workings of how players are signed at such a young age, the focus have been for years Dominican Republic. Now you see Major League Baseball is shifting their gears towards Venezuela, right? For years there have been only 2 major league offices in the world, New York City and the Dominican Republic. They're working on building a new major league office in Venezuela for that same thing to keep the pipeline going. Grace, what's your thoughts on that? And throw it over to our man Pete.
I wanted to say, if you want to debate, we can go round and round. You're about to find somebody where you're going to look for her, okay? So just to be safe,
yeah, Grace is quick with the
get out there. I'm a Texas girl, and I know how to take care of myself, okay? But now that we got that out of the way, I do want to say that the contract was going to a place where I felt uncomfortable. If the Yankees had signed Juan Soto at $760, I would have been ecstatic. I would have been happy, but I would have felt some type of way that was a little too much money. Not that he didn't deserve it, but that we couldn't go make moves after that. That we would then be hamstrung to only trades, which our trade depth has been depleted when we got Juan Soto last year, et cetera, et cetera. And so for me, I was like, is this smart? Is this smart for baseball? Now, I wanted Juan Soto. I'm not backing down from that. If we'd have got him, I would have been happy. However, that was so much money. And honestly, I feel like only Steve Cohen could have paid that money and kept, what we say in Texas, take a licking and keep on ticking. That's what he did. He took it and he's like, next, what are we doing next? He's not hurting like the Yankees would have been. Not that the Yankees don't have any money, but it's a totally different situation. So I wanted to say that. Now, second, when it comes to Soto's dad and the security and, he didn't get to bring his son a doggy bag into the locker room. Like, first of all, grow up. You're a grown man. And now you're almost a billionaire, okay? Can you not figure out how to get your own McDonald's takeout or whatever you're eating? Do you need your daddy to come into the locker room? This is a business. This is work, okay? We can't let everybody have 5 people. You're going to have 150 people in the locker room, okay? Like this man, this security guy had a job to do, and he did his job. Like, why are we dragging this security guy out in the mud? Like, what are we doing? And besides, Juan Soto's dad, after the season was over, was quoted saying how much he loved the Yankees and how his son had an amazing time. There's multiple videos of Juan Soto Sr. dancing with Anthony Volpe's dad and Gleyber Torres' dad and having the time of his life during the postseason. You're telling me this family was miserable and they were shut out? There's videos of kids running around on the field with all the parents and everybody else at the Division Series championship celebration, at the CS championship celebration. This is just a narrative that is not real. It's not the case. Coming out after the fact, I don't respect it. And it's painting Juan Soto like he's a baby, and he's not a baby. He's a nice man. He's a grown man, and he can take care of himself. Like this argument makes me sick. Like, to be honest.
Yeah. So
yeah, I don't know how true. My fault. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Pete. It was a little delay on my end. Go ahead.
Oh yeah. So
no, I was gonna say I don't know how true. I'm gonna refresh and join because I don't know what happened. Keep rocking, Pete.
So no, I totally hear what you're saying, Grace, and I think a lot of what you said is true. But I'm a firm believer in two things can be true at once, right?
Yeah,
so
that's
he
true.
had a great experience. He had a great season. He was one of the key reasons why they even were in the World Series. But I looked at the Cameron Maybin tweet. Cameron Maybin, not just a guy who's played for many teams, played for the Yankees, then also worked at Yes, then worked at MLB Network. He tweeted this out yesterday, and I thought this was huge. You guys, we all got to turn the page. I'm going to skip across a little bit. He's like, there's no staff for chemistry. Plus, I've said it before, the whole vibe going on the Mets this past season fits his vibe completely. On top of the money, Juan's vibe seems to me like he wants to be around Lindor, Marte, Alvarez, Siri, Acuna, Diaz, Vientos, Montas, Ascazar, De Los Santos, Mauricio, Taylor, Torrens, Brazaban. Like, hear that, right? Boom. Juan Soto wants to be a part of that. This is something that Al has been saying for months, where I was sitting on the other side of the glass saying, all right, I hope you're right. And it sounds like he was right. So for all the money side of it and for what he enjoyed in the Bronx with the fans and the success that they had, it's also true that he seems very excited to join this Mets crew. Like, this Mets team plays an energetic style of baseball. How do you not want to be around Francisco Lindor? So he may like Judge. He may like Volpe. He may have loved Gleyber Torres. All that stuff is true, but it's also very true that he's probably thrilled to be the star alongside Francisco Lindor, alongside some of the other talent on the Mets right now. So I think the big thing people are missing here is that two things can be true. Often in this world of media, we're like, oh, it's this or nothing. Everything else is BS. That report's stupid. This report doesn't make sense. At the end of the day, he could have had the best time of his life in this last year with the Yankees. He thinks he's going to have a better time now with the New York Mets. That's why he chose this decision. It wasn't for $15 million. It wasn't for Lindor over Judge. Well, it is for Lindor over Judge, not as a player, but as maybe a person, right? So I think all these things come into it, and seeing someone like Cameron Maybin, who has played on many teams, he's intimately aware of how the business works and how players tick. And if he knows Juan Soto at all, man, I am riding with this. And I spoke to a former teammate of Juan Soto just this past week, Tom Cosgrove, relief pitcher for the Padres. He was a young man, a rookie pitcher. He's actually older than Juan Soto, actually, but he was a rookie pitcher when Juan Soto was with the Padres. He spoke so highly of this dude. He's like, I can't believe this guy worked. He treated me like I was his equal when I'm some rookie who hasn't thrown an inning in the bigs yet. And he spoke to the fact of him turning down that $400 million. It wasn't, it didn't go over well with everybody in his camp, right? That he turned that down, and he bet on himself. He made the right decision clearly. And now he's going to show up in New York looking to make it worthwhile. He's looking to make it the best possible situation he could.
Well, Pete, now I have to echo what you said to me earlier, because now you're being a rational Mets fan. Okay. So, so talking about focusing on what the Mets offered is a great way to go about this. The Mets offered a vibe. The Mets offered a family, oriented view. The Mets offered Lindor, who's his homie. The Mets offered this and that. That's a great way to celebrate winning the biggest free agent of all time. What's not a good way, in my opinion, is to go around trashing the security guard or a story about his dad not being able to take him food. Like, why do you have to go? Not you, Pete. Why do fans have to go there? Just be happy for your team. Be happy for what your team offered Soto, that he chose to go there. Don't drag all these people into it or try to make it about, the negativity. Let me say one more thing, Heck, before you go.
Go ahead.
I was watching the press conference yesterday, and Soto was so excited. And as somebody who watched him for an entire year, you kind of tell these guys' emotions. You kind of get in tune with them. He was so happy. He was smiling like I've hardly ever seen him smile all season. He put that jersey on, and he was all, it was all about him. And then here come the questions. Well, how does this make the Yankees feel? What did you think about leaving the Yankees? What have you talked to Judge? Have you spoken to? And it's all these Yankees questions, and you can see his face just kind
getting
of
uncomfortable.
And it was like, bro, you don't go like to somebody's graduation and ask them about their brother. Like, how's your brother doing? Like, yeah, this is my graduation. This is my day. And that's what I'm talking about. Celebrate Juan Soto with the Mets. Congratulate that. Look forward to that future. Why does it have to be only in a reflection of how that makes the Yankees feel? How, like, why are we talking about the Yankees at a Mets press conference? You know what I mean?
Well, you know why. It's for the clicks.
They're trying to get drama. Yeah.
They're trying to get a quote from him. But, just to go back on, I'm not sure how much truth there is about that whole security situation and Juan Soto's family and people and stuff. Maybe Al could speak better on it or Pete could speak better on it. But from my perspective, as somebody that, me being in Yankee Stadium as a fan and somebody that's working media, you get to see both sides of different things. Gate 6 at Yankee Stadium, I hate going through Gate 6 because those security guards over there are like Secret Service type flight security guards of the world. I go to Gate 2, they're super nice, they're super laid back, they're super chill. Gate 4, they're amazing. Gate 6 is like that episode of Seinfeld, the soup Nazi, right? That's how they are at Gate 6 at Yankee Stadium, right? But when I'm working media, when you're there, do you see sometimes some security guards go out of their way and yes, they have a job to do, but they take their job a little bit too serious? Absolutely. We've seen it with Spike Lee at Madison Square Garden. Spike Lee is a legend with the Knicks. Why are security guards running up to Spike Lee to grab him and stop him, knowing that this man spends millions of dollars and everybody sees him on the side, right? So I understand both sides of the coin. Yes, as somebody that I worked as a member of service, I worked EMS for many years. I understand the logistics about having a job to do. I get that when it comes to responsibility. But at the same time, you could read the room and understand, like, this person, that they're probably connected, family. Like, you just don't do that. It's like if Al or Pete, if they own the bar, right? If they own a restaurant, right? And then you have somebody from the city inspectors coming in, but your host that they met at the door give them a first bad experience. Now, they don't care how good your food is. They don't care how great of an owner you are. They the last thing they remember is their experience they had walking into your restaurant. That's the last thing that's on their mind. Al, I'll throw it over to you and get Pete's take as well on that one point. And then we'll switch the gears and talk about other options when it comes to the offseason. Go ahead, bro.
All right, somebody works in hospitality. I was learned there in training. One negative experience, that goes to 12 people. One positive experience, it goes to 6 people. The negative always outweighs the positive. As a Latino and my grandfather born in Puerto Rico, I know family is everything. If you disrespect the family, that's a wrap. That's a wrap. No matter how much good happens, it's a wrap. So I believe the family thing is true. The security guard, I'm not bashing him. I actually want to send him a Christmas card and say thank you. I mean, I've been saying that. I'm not mad at him. I want to say thank you. Feliz Navidad, my brother. Like, I'm good. I'm good. As far as Soto seeing the Mets having fun, I mentioned that on my show when the Mets whooped the Yankees ass at Yankee Stadium and they were doing the OMG stuff and having fun. Soto took notice of that. He took notice of that, and that message was relayed to me, and I relayed it on the air. People were like, oh, you're just making shit up for clicks. That's not my agenda. It's never been my agenda. I don't claim to have a million sources. I trust who tells me stuff. And if it's a lie, that's a wrap on that. The same thing with the Jeff McNeil. I was told it was clickbait. You're just making shit up. How that happened this season? Happy Jeff. Over a year when I said about Jeff McNeil being a miserable, you know what, in the clubhouse and a negative influence. It was correct. So when he saw the OMG stuff and the Mets having fun at Yankee Stadium, the party atmosphere, Soto just wants to show up to the park, have fun, play ball, and go home. He don't want the extra stuff. And there's a lot of extra stuff for being a Yankee. You know that as Yankee fans. There's a lot of extra stuff. He don't want that extra stuff. He wants to show up, play ball, and go home. He came out yesterday, and I didn't notice. He goes to the ballpark, puts his headphones on, does his batting practice, plays his games, does his interview, and he's out. He don't want nothing to do with that. And as a Met, he's going to be able to do that because he's got a lot of other guys. Lindor sits in front of the locker, good and bad games. He'll take the heat. He'll let Soto get comfortable in the Met clubhouse before he starts dealing with all that heat. That's the kind of captain that Francisco Lindor is. As far as the Maben thing, he's 100% right as well. He's 100% right as well. This is not 1999, not even earlier than that. This is 2024. Times have changed. The Yankees have not. You have to adapt to the new generation of the player, or else you're going to be shunned. For example, look at the Patriots, the Patriot way, the Patriot way, the Patriot way. And now they suck ass because the new generation wants no part of that. They want no part of Bill. He's out of the NFL. They want no part of that corporate. They don't want that. They just want to come, get paid, have fun, and go home. So I think Juan Soto is going to be really comfortable in the Met Clubhouse. He's going to be really comfortable at Citi Field, and it's going to be a lot of fun seeing him hit home runs to left field. Like that video said, home runs that would have been out at Citi Field, the left field. I'm going to love every single one of those going over the left field wall.
Yeah.
Great
All right.
point.
Before we continue, we got over 150 people watching us collectively across all platforms, over 70 people on YouTube. If you guys can, please smack that like button, hit that subscribe button. We are on our way to 5K on the subs. Pete, are you getting a Christmas card for that security guard at Yankee Stadium? What's your thoughts, Pete? Go ahead, and then I got some super chats to read.
I just stamped it right here. Here we go. It's live. It's going out today. But no, man, I'm thrilled. I'm happy for it. I don't like to buy into the BS, like all that stuff when it comes to reporting. It's just noise to me. And I'm ultra aware. All of us who are like online, how we are, we're in the media as much as we are. Like we are immune to a lot of that stuff. You leave that BS to the fans. Like this report came out yesterday. People are sending around within 10 minutes. Like, nah, this is fake. I don't even want to bring it up. Right. Nah, this is fake. So we move on because you can't buy into too much. When this whole thing was going down, we're seeing reporters come out with stories left and right. And I'm like, I don't trust any of this. When it comes to baseball, if it ain't passing my test. If it's the Knicks, if it's not, Woj ain't doing it anymore. But if it wasn't Woj or Shams or Ian Begley, I don't care, right? Like there's too much noise. You can't buy into it all. And you get BS story after BS story. So to me, that might be true. The security thing might be true. If it is, okay, we move on. If it isn't, then a horrible job by whoever reported it, right? And we're never going to know. That's the thing, right? Shams comes out last week, just to put a parallel to it, and says something about Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler's agent goes on Twitter. This is out of control. You're a sham. Like you don't deserve to be doing what you're doing. All this stuff is fake, 100% fake. Shams goes on TV the next day and says, I stand by what I said 1,000%. So what is it? Right? Are we going to trust the agent who is intimately a part of this process? Or are we going to trust Shams, who seems to have everything right when he reports stuff? Granted, he seems like a mouthpiece occasionally, but that's part of the game, right? I mean, we know what John Heyman just went through on Twitter. To me, all that stuff is noise. End of the day, here we are. And both of these teams, the most important thing, because we're about to segue, I'm sure, Hector, both of these teams have work to do, right? The Yankees had Soto last year and didn't win it all. The Mets were a good team last year, didn't win it all. They're both losing pieces, and they're both needing to fill holes right now, right? The Mets need pitching. The Yankees need a few more pieces of their lineup and pitching. So this conversation is awesome, but at the end of the day, both of these teams have a chance to win their division and have a chance to not even make it into the playoffs.
Can I ask you guys a question, Yankee fans, real quick? Can I ask you guys a question as Yankee fans? And I know it's, I don't know if you were around when George was owning the team, because I don't know your ages like that. If it was George versus Cohen, how do you think this would have gone down?
Here we go.
Ahead,
The
Grace.
Mets
Go ahead,
argument.
Grace.
No.
I'm curious.
Y'all want Steve Cohen to be George so bad.
No. I think Al is doing it for like a good faith, argument. I think Al.
Yeah, I'm not doing this. I don't want George to. I don't want Cohen to be George. This is a serious question, like, because Yankee fans call Hal cheap, blah 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 blah. So I'm just curious, if it was George versus Cohen, I just want to know, how do you think, honestly, how it went down? There's no ill will or anything towards us.
No, we're cool. I am not one of the Yankees fans that hates Hal. Unfortunately, I'm rational. Ugh, it's exhausting. I'm constantly defending Hal and defending Cashman to a certain degree as well. Less than Hal, but I'm really in Hal's corner. So to me, yeah, I wasn't around really when George was the owner. I was around. I was really keyed into the 2009 championship.
Okay.
So that was like the last end of George. He was sick, and it was that whole thing. That was my team. 2009 was my team. And then obviously since then, but it's been hard being in Texas, because before the MLB TV app, before we all had iPhones and before we all had smartphones and everything, it was hard to watch the Yankees for me. I could only watch the Yankees if they played a local team, or if we were in the postseason, or if it was a nationally televised game. So it was hard for me in the George era. I don't really remember. But I want to say that everything George did wasn't great.
Of course.
From my reading, he did some suspect things and was a little outside the lines. Steve Cohen, however, yesterday when they asked him about the Yankees, is this better? Forgive me because I'm going to paraphrase and it might not be the exact question, but it was something like, is this sweeter that you took it from the Yankees or something? And Cohen was like, no, it's nothing to do with the Yankees. We're friends off the field. We compete on the field and we're friends off the field. And that's a misquote, but it's something like that. And I thought that was really classy. The thing that reminds me about George from Steve is that they're fans and they'll stop at nothing to win. I love that for the Mets. I think you guys should have that. It's great to have that. George was a part of a dynasty for the Yankees. I think it's exciting for Mets fans, But if it was George versus Cohen, this contract would have gone to $1 billion. That's what I want to say. I mean, it would have been $1 billion before it stopped. Who knows what would have happened?
Yeah, I got the quote here. Steve Cohen says, I don't play that game. I can promise you the Yankees will take players from us and they'll win their fair share of battles. That's what competition is. We compete on the field and we're friends off the field. And from Steve Cohen, his wife, they're amazing, right? I tell you this all the time, Al. Every time I'm at Citi Field, Alex, she is amazing. How welcoming she is, how open she is when it comes to just talking with people. She is awesome. She has the vibes. But when you look at what Pete was talking about, right, and then segueing to the next topic, and shout out to the super chats. My guy Ace Avenue said, "Not being little brother only matters to little brother." Congrats to the Met fans in Soto. This wakes up how Chase 4 for 28. That's what we are worried about, and that's what I think Yankee fans should just focus on, right? Let the Met fans have their glory. Let the Mets have their glory. This is their time to shine. When you look at history, right, when A-Rod left the Seattle Mariners, the Mariners won the most games in the regular season. That was the next year, right? When Bryce Harper left the Nationals won the World Series the next year. So we're going to see what happened when Juan Soto was traded away from the San Diego Padres. The Padres had a better season this year than they had last year. So it's all going to come down to what is Brian Cashman and his brain trust going to do now that they have to pivot. But I was walking by Steve Phillips, former Mets GM, and I told him, I'm like, you're the reason this shit happened. I'm like, you are the reason why Juan Soto is a Met. The butterfly effect of you not signing Alex Rodriguez got Steve Cohen so pissed off as a Met fan. That man was determined that I'm going to be a billionaire so I could buy this team and I could build this team the way that I want to do it. So all you Met fans, thank A-Rod and thank Steve Phillips. All right, now going to the rest of the offseason, what are the next move the Mets going to do? What are the next move that the Yankees are going to do? Since the Yankees signed Max Fried, right? I'll throw it over to Al and Pete. Give us your layout for the next additions that you guys want to see in Queens. Go ahead, Al.
Take care, Pete. Been back, not Pete Kennedy. I mean Pete Alonso. Like I went back and forth. All before the season. I was, callers call in, gut feeling. What do you think is going to happen? I said Pete's going to be back. As the season went on and Pete was struggling, I'm like, they're not going to bring him back. He's going to outprice himself. But now the way things are going, Nimmo texting Soto said he want to be teammates. Alonso's been here for the bad times and some good times, and he's seeing this happen. You think he's going to want to leave this for an extra couple $1 million? I don't think so, unless he gets blown out the water with some crazy contract, which is not going to happen because I don't think this is hot, stove for Pete right now. So I think taking care of Pete and then locking up another starting pitcher are the next two moves for the Mets. That needs to be done.
Yeah, go ahead, Pete. I'll throw it over to you. Double A with the $4.99 super chat. Double A says, I've been a Met and Yankee fan since 1968. Don't age yourself, Double A. Yes, it's possibly, but come World Series, I go with the Yanks. George would have turned Soto off with aggression. Go ahead, Pete.
That's a good point.
Double A looking jacked in that photo for 19.
Yo, he is the fittest 65, 70-year-old I ever met in my life. That man, Double A, he does 50 push-ups and eats raw steak and eggs in the morning. Go ahead, Pete.
I gotta in the gym right now. No, the Pete Alonso thing is something that I've bounced around like a million times. I think the defense side for Pete Alonso has been a little bit overblown, and like that's the type of thing where it's an easy thing to pick on when he makes that one mistake every once in a while. But his defense got a lot better. I kind of felt like Pete was gone, but now that Soto's here, I'm starting to feel like Pete's FOMO is going to be the biggest factor in this. How could you be there for this true come up? How can you be a key cog and getting the Mets to 2 playoffs in the last 3 years and winning all these games and making that run and hitting that walk-off home run in the playoffs and then say, all right, now we're about to take off and I'm out of here? Nah, I don't see that's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Big factor in this, though, is Scott Boras, right? Scott Boras holds a lot of keys in this MLB offseason every single year. Is he going to kind of force Pete's hand to wait it out and take the biggest paycheck and do this? Or is Pete going to be able to put his foot down and say, I'm not taking the biggest offer. I'm not going to the highest bidder. I'm going to take a couple million off and stay with this team that has brought me here, that I could end up being, the leader in all these stats for the team's history. Like, he's on pace to be the most prolific home run hitter in Mets history, RBIs, one of the best first basemen in history of the Mets franchise. Like, at some point, that stuff has to matter. Obviously, with Soto and the Yankees, that wasn't connected because he was only there for one season. But Pete's been here. He is, quote unquote, and this is not a great comparison of productivity, but he's the Aaron Judge kind of the Mets right now. He's not as good, but he came up through the system. He's been here for bad times. He's kind of brought us up with him and with his success. And frankly, if last year was a down season for him, my God, I want to have that guy on my team. Right? If he ticks back up to the mean and now Soto's on base like he always is and Lindor continues what he did last year, Alonso's a $120 RBIs. Like, let's be real here. He was doing that for much worse teams. Last year was his worst year of his career, and he still hit all those dingers. So the Pete Alonso side, I thought it was dead in the water, and I think it's very legitimate for it to come back. End of the day, though, this pitching staff has to get figured out. Whether it's a big market move, we know Crochet is now off the table. We know Fried is off the table. Are they going to be able to go big game hunting here on the pitching staff? Senga has never been more important to this team. Like, he has to be a dude. And then if the tribal chief, as they call him, Shalmanaya, comes back, like, he has to be really good again, right? Like, all these things are super important. And that's what I've been trying to say. Like, the Mets fans are riding high right now. We have high expectations. We're going to go into a season with like top, 3 or 4 odds to win the World Series. I don't know if that's accurate. We should be top 3 in the NL East. The Braves are not going away. The Phillies are not going away. Obviously, the Dodgers are not going away. This path for the Mets is not easy. And right now, the pitching staff lacks. They need to figure that out. And I've been quoting that Bryce Harper left and Nationals won the World Series thing over and over again. So I'm with you right there. The Yankees' path to winning the AL East is still easier than the Mets' path to win the NL East. I'm real enough to say that and wear it on the chin and hope that the Mets team figures it out. But this team is not complete. The pitching staff needs to be improved for them to compete at the highest level. And even if that happens, right? Like, say they get Corbin Burns, fantastic. The Dodgers are not going anywhere. The Padres, the Braves, the Phillies, these teams are stacked, right? So this whole thing that we're pumped about right now, we're riding high. If I had to put my money on it, the Yankees have a better path to the World Series still, right here, right now, before they trade for Tucker, which everyone believes is going to happen. I'm sure we're going to get into it. Before they sign the rest of whoever the hell they're going to sign, the Yankees' path is still easier than the Mets' path to the World Series.
Yeah, I will say this real quick because you mentioned you asked about the Mets, what they should do. Sasaki is the guy. The Mets have done their due diligence like crazy. They've been over there over and over in constant communication. Sasaki's people was not happy that they said he's going to be a Dodger guaranteed. To me, it's between the Padres and the Mets. Padres and the Mets for him. It's the two. It's not going to be the Dodgers. It's going to be the Padres or the Mets for Sasaki.
For me, with Sasaki, and I was there at the press conference he had with the media. He spoke about how unfairly Sasaki was treated by the Japanese media in Japan. He specifically said, and he said, I want to make a point, not the Japanese media that is based in America. He made that point specifically. And he said, maybe Sasaki may be more fit for a smaller market, but he's not that turned off when it comes to possibly being in a bigger market. And to Al's point, like he said, when it comes to Soto being with the Yankees, all those cameras on top of you, if you were to go to Queens, maybe you could hide under the radar with the Japanese media that's here in America. But to Pete's point, right, when it comes to Pete Alonso, and I'll throw it over to Grace to give her take when we talk about the Yankees and all of these trades for like Bellinger and Tucker, when it comes to Pete Alonso, it kind of seems like he's being treated like as the evil stepchild right now, right? Because after the Juan Soto signing, there was rumors about Christian Walker. There was rumors when we were down there that the Mets may be Steve Cohen may be trying to hit one out the ballpark, trying to trade for Vladimir Guerrero Jr. And then it came out that they traded for Jimenez, and they're going to try to hold on to Vlad until the trade deadline to see where they're at. And honestly, if that's the situation, David Stern's in the perfect spot to go out there and try to trade for Vladimir Guerrero Jr. And talking about David Stern, the difference, right, between what's going on now, or like I would say with George Steinbrenner had Gene Michael, right? David Stern is that for Steve Cohen right now. David Stern, I think he is the smartest GM in all of Major League Baseball. And I've been on record from the beginning of the year, been saying that when he was with the Brewers, I wanted him to be the heir apparent to Brian Cashman, but I understood he grew up a Met fan and he's from this area, right? So I understood that. David Stern, to me, I think that is the perfect person to have next to Steve Cohen because he knows what it takes to build a farm system. Look at what your farm system is right now, right? Everybody talk about Christian Scott and Ronald Acuna. That's not even your number one prospect. Your number one prospect is a starting pitcher named Strout, or however you pronounce his name. That Sprout. There you go. Strout, whatever it is. But that kid is going to be a beast, and he's a guy that flies under the radar because everybody talks about Acuna, everybody talks about Christian Scott. So I think the Mets are set up perfectly to not only try to win the back page wars, but try to build something that's sustainable for the next few years to come. And Al, you spoke about George in the 80s. I always bring this up. Yankee fans, I love to, give my love to George Steinbrenner, but you got to remember there was some moves that he did that didn't set up the Yankees properly. He traded Willie McGee, who's a Hall of Famer, and he traded Fred McGriff in the 80s. If Don Mattingly had Willie McGee and Fred McGriff in the 80s, he would have been to the postseason. That's all I'm
Jay
going to say.
Buhner went to Seattle and hit 40-something homers. I mean, he's made some horrible moves. Well, the only reason I brought up Steinbrenner is because I respected his I don't give a shit, I'm going to do whatever it takes to win attitude. That's all I wanted for the Mets. I wanted that. I lived through the coupons, for Christ's sake, shopping in the 99-cent style and occasionally shopping for, the high-priced items. Occasionally. Steve Cohen, this is what I've been waiting for. He wanted Stearns from the beginning, couldn't get him, had to settle for what's-his-face, and now he's got his guy, and I'm happy about it. This is not about Yankees versus Mets. I don't care about it. It's fun in the offseason. It's fun in the Subway Series. My main concern is Braves, Phillies, Padres, and Dodgers. That's what I truly care about once the season gets going.
Grace, I'm going to toss it over to you. We got about like 20, 25, 30 more minutes to rock out. Grace, I'll toss it over to you. Let's talk about these Yankee rumors now. Cody Bellinger, Kyle Tucker. What's your thoughts, and where do you think the Yankees will go from there?
So we were talking about how hard the Mets' path is to the World Series. The NL is an absolute beast. I do not envy that at all. It's crazy. The NL East is crazy. The entire National League is stacked. Now, switching to what Hector was saying about the Yankees, the American League, not so much. The American League is so open right now. And when I say that, I don't mean any disrespect to any other teams, but I will say that it is perhaps the most open it has been in years right now. It's not going to last forever. As Bobby Witt continues to get better and better, and the Royals low key are making moves out there. I mean, they are kind of on my radar out there. Obviously, we hate the Astros. The Orioles still have something to prove to me before I get afraid of them. Same with the Jays. So for me, I feel like now is the time for the Yankees to go all in and try to bring home the next, world title, the number 28, as we say, as Yankees fans say. Because Garrett Cole is only getting older. I love Garrett Cole. I know you guys, we just met, but Garrett Cole is my guy. He's my favorite Yankee. He's my number one. Love him. That being said, his best years are probably behind him at this point. Now, I'm not saying he's not going to be a great pitcher next year. Yeah. I'm just saying with so much respect, and I love Daddy Cole, but come on, like it's only going to, I'm saying? So Garrett Cole, Giancarlo Stanton, this man turned in an incredible year, kind of navigated through his injuries last year, stayed healthy down the stretch and into the postseason. He proved how much he means to this team, especially in clutch situations. And how many more years are we going to have of Giancarlo? Like, not many. Aaron Judge also, he's in his prime right now, and he'll be coming over the peak soon. We have to maximize these 3 future Hall of Famers. In my opinion, I think Giancarlo's going to hit 500 and go to the Hall, but, that's a story for another time. But we have to maximize our window with these 3 Hall of Famers on our team. Okay. We also have the Rookie of the Year currently. We have the unanimous. Well, I already mentioned Aaron Judge, but anyway, you get the point. So what do we have to do now? What can we do now? And this is what I was telling Heck at the winter meetings. If these, okay, I'm a fan. And this is why I'm not in charge of the team and I'm not a GM. But if these kids aren't going to play for the New York Yankees next year or the year after that, trade them. Trade them, get Kyle Tucker, trade them, get whoever you need to get to stack this team. We need a first baseman. We need an outfielder. We need we don't know what we're going to do at second base. I know we have a couple options there, but we don't know what we're going to do there. We have to make serious moves right now, or else we are going to be wasting possibly 3 Hall of Fame careers. So go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say, Grace. Well, I just wanted to add on with the Yankees getting Juan Soto. Well, with Juan Soto going to the Mets, the Yankees did get a draft pick and some international signing money. So there's a 16-year-old kid out of the Dominican Republic that's a part of the international pool this upcoming July. Rowdy Manuel Abreu, who throws 102, 103 miles per hour. You're not trying to sign a 16-year-old that's going to take 10 years to make it to the major leagues. You're just trying to focus on the next 2 years. You're not.
You know what? I don't give a shit right now. Call me in 5 years, okay? Call me in 5 years and ask me how I feel about that. Right now, I'm trying to win. I'm a fan. I want a ring, okay? We went to the World Series. I had all the World Series merch in my cart, just sitting there, just waiting to hit click. And then we lost, and I'm like, erase. We're doing it again. We're doing it next year. Like, no, I know, Hector. Sorry about that. I know that was an expensive hat.
Yeah, $65 for a fucking hat. $65 for a hat at the team store. They got my money.
You got to mark.
They got that money. All right.
I know it's terrible, but yeah, I want Tucker. Now, are we talking about trading Luis Hill? Look, I'm not hanging up the phone. You want Luis Hill? Let's talk. Let's make a deal. I want Cody Bellinger. I'm not sure if I'd play him in the outfield or if I'd play him at first base. I need more WAR out of first base than what we got last year. Was absolutely atrocious at that position. Unheard of. I need a bat. I need some offense out of first base next year. Our pitching is in a great place, right? We're kind of in the opposite situation of the Mets. Our league is easy. Our pitching is incredible. Y'all need to improve the pitching. Your league is extremely difficult. We're kind of in opposite situations. We did lose Juan Soto, but we also have a right fielder. So we're not hurting in that spot. We don't need to necessarily replace Juan Soto 1-for-1. But we do need to make moves to improve this team and strike while the iron is hot.
Yeah, 100%. Pete, go ahead, Pete. I'll toss it over to you and then kick it over to Al. Go ahead, Pete.
All right.
I was just going to say, with Brian Cashman, who's a guy who I, as a Met fan, have defended, as Yankee fans for the last 5-6 years have just complained. I'm like, y'all don't know how good you have it, right? So
yep.
Tell them again.
Right? All the Cashman complainers out there. As a Mets fan, we would have dreamed to just be in the playoffs every single year. Like, what? We made playoffs 2 out of 3, and we're throwing parades almost. Not actually, but you know what I mean? I always compared Cashman to Danny Ainge, right? They're 2 guys who are at the top of their game. They are the most feared GMs in their sports because they seemingly don't lose trades. They seemingly draft very well, and they're constantly pushing the right buttons on the margins. That's great. But guess what happened to the Boston Celtics when Danny Ainge left? Brad Stevens came into the front office and decided to take some big swings while he had Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. And you can compare that directly to Aaron Judge and Garrett Cole. He went in and took a risky trade in Porzingis. Major risk, right? You go for a guy who's over the hill in Drew Holiday. You go for an underappreciated guy in Derek White. And all of a sudden, the Celtics are an absolute juggernaut, right? Is Danny Ainge willing to do that? I don't know. I don't know what the hell he's doing in Utah right now. He's not trying to win yet. I don't know what he's doing. But Cashman and Ainge have always had this reputation of they don't lose trades. Don't trade with them. You're going to end up on the wrong side of it. Whatever they do is going to work out. They do the right things on the margins. But at some point, you need to take a big-time risk. And with this window where it is right now, you got to take it right now. So I'm signing the 16-year-old sensation that's, 6 years away or whatever. But right now, the Kyle Tucker thing's on the table. Go ahead and do whatever the hell you can. Because like you said, Spencer Jones, maybe. Or is he going to be the next Clint Frazier, right? How many prospects have we seen come through this Yankees organization, even if they have a good start to their career? Miguel Andujar stands out to me, right? Like, he comes in, nearly rookie of the year, hits great. All of a sudden, he can't find a spot in the lineup. Like, Spencer Jones is not a guarantee. Jason Dominguez, people love him. He's not a guarantee. Kyle Tucker is a guarantee. He is about 85% of Juan Soto as a hitter and a much better fielder and can run the bases, right? So if you can do that, take the damn risk. Don't Cashman yourself and Danny Ainge yourself into being so smart you can't lose. Take that risk. You have to win now. All of a sudden, like you said about Judge, it's not like he's been 162 every year. He's had some really healthy years. He's had some years where he's very injured. It's not a guarantee that he's great for the next 5 years. It's a guarantee he's great for the next 3. Go win right here, right now.
Yeah, gotta go hard, right? Got to be able to spend in order to make it back, right? Al, go ahead, Theo.
Well, one of my openings before the whole Soto signing, I said I did a plan B for the Mets and for the Yankees. My plan B for the Yankees was to combine for the loss of Soto. I said Bellinger, trade for Bellinger. He can opt out if he has a big season so he can get paid. Put his ass in center field. He's one of the best defensive center fielders in baseball. I said try to get Santander. You if you strike out on Bellinger, try to get Santander. His production is tremendous. 40 home runs, switch hitter. And then I mentioned what's the other one you guys talked about? Kyle Tucker. I mentioned him as well. Make the call. The problem with Kyle Tucker is the Yankees are gonna have to do what the Mets did, and that's overspend for once, because the Astros and Yankees, I can't see them doing business unless it's approval for the Astros. Like, okay, we got all we wanted. I'm not trading Luis Hill in that. I'm not doing that. Luis Hill, I think if he can get his control issues, he walks a lot of batters at times when he's out of control. If they can get him under control, that guy's going to be an elite. Let me say it again: elite pitcher for the Yankees, top of the rotation guy. So that's a guy I wouldn't trade. Clark Schmidt is a guy I would include in the trade before I do Luis Hill for sure. As far as the hoarding prospects, I mentioned that. I asked the callers because they were calling, yeah, we should trade for this one. I'm like, are you willing to trade Spencer Jones? No. I said, so what the hell do you want to do? What are you going to get worth of damn if you're not willing to trade him, who hasn't done anything in the major leagues? I said, are you willing to trade Jason Dominguez to get an elite player? No. Well, then what the hell do you expect to happen? That's like these unrealistic Mets fans saying, let's trade Starling Marte to get Kyle Tucker and Jose Altuve. That's just, some bullshit trades. I'm like, you guys are bugging. This ain't MLB The Show. So you got to give to get. And I think for the Yankees to get Tucker, they're going to have to give a little more because it's the Astros and all the shit that Cashman's talked about them. A little more to make that happen. And plus, you'll have Tucker for 1 year before Steve Cohen jumps in and takes him too.
Oh wow! Well,
Too soon.
Of course,
Too soon,
Al.
Al.
Of course. All right, I want to shout out the chat again. We got over 150 people rocking out with us. If you guys can hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We got over 70 people on YouTube watching us. We're sitting at 41 likes. So let's try to get the likes over 50 if we can. So now for me, right, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take my Yankee hat off, right, because I am a Yankee fan, but I'm putting my Ass Ketchum hat on, right? Hey. If you guys know, you guys know. When it comes to Brian Cashman, don't worry, Al. Okay, I'll send you some videos, okay? When it comes to Brian Cashman, I'm gonna need Brian Cashman to catch them all. I'm gonna need Brian Cashman to go out there, go get Cody Bellinger, right? If you have to be involved in a 3-team trade to send Kyle Tucker to the Chicago Cubs, you send him to the Chicago Cubs. But I want Cody Bellinger with the New York Yankees. That's a priority for me. I'm with you, Pete. If we're able to swing and get Kyle Tucker, you go out there, you swing, you go get Kyle Tucker as well. If we're able to get Tucker and Bellinger, it's a dream off season. I know it was a nightmare losing Juan Soto, but I think that's a nice plan B, adding Max Fried, Cody Bellinger, and Kyle Tucker. When it comes to the prospects, I am with you. And I've been on record saying that prospects, they're like the golden ticket, right? And Willy Wonka, you just hope that you have the one that actually signs. You just hope that you have the lottery ticket that's going to hit. And when you look at Jason Dominguez, we saw what he did not last year, the year before, and Yankee fans fell in love. It's unfair to put this much pressure on Jason Dominguez coming into this season. Just let the kid be who he is. You saw what happened to Anthony Volpe in his rookie year. He struggled tremendously, even though you let him go out there and play. So when it comes to Jason, when it comes to Spencer Jones, when it comes to Roderick Arias and a lot of the prospects that the Yankees have in their system, the George Lombards of the world, if we have Garrett Cole and Aaron Judge, who probably have 2 to 3 more years left of top-end productivity, You have to go out there and, like Pete said, swing for the fences. You have to go out there and get a trade and not be scared to make that trade. I understand Brian Cashman, luxury tax penalties. You don't want to give up a prospect. You don't want to send them to Houston and see if they turn into something in Houston, but you're going to have to do that. Look what the Red Sox did with Garrett Crochet. The Red Sox sent the catcher, who I think is probably going to be one of the next best catchers in Major League Baseball for the next 5 years, and they sent the infielder by the name of Meredith. Meredith is somebody that I've been following for a long time, ever since back when he was in high school. This is a prospect that this kid can hit. He can hit with the best of them, and some Red Sox fans were calling him Dustin Pedroia 2.0, right? But the Red Sox were willing to give up those prospects in order to get Garrett Crochet. After losing out on Max Fried, after losing out on Juan Soto, they went out there. They're trying to make it attractive in Boston. So they went out there and they traded for their H, who has 3 years of team control. They could offer him a contract extension to keep him in Boston for years on after. So you have to be able to gamble. Like you cannot be scared. You can't just hoard these prospects. You brought up perfect names. Miguel Andujar. Everybody thought Yankeeography Miguel Andujar, retire his jersey in Monument Park. Everybody thought that was going to happen. That never happened. Clint Frazier was a top-end prospect, top 15 prospect in Major League Baseball. He never amounted to anything. So you have to be able to. Gary Sanchez. We could have traded Gary Sanchez when he first came off the scene. People would have called us crazy, but look what happened to Gary Sanchez's careers, right? You never know if these guys are going to pan out. They may have one good year, but you never know how long how much is going to translate over the next 5, 6, or the entire career. If that
Heck, you remember this, Heck? Heck, you remember this when it was Mets and Yankees talk on the fan? It was like, would you trade Jacob? Would the Yankees trade Gary Sanchez, Clint Frazier, and Miguel Andujar for Jacob deGrom? And all the Yankee fans said no. You think they regret? You said no.
I was one of the Yankee fans that said no, and I'm gonna tell you why, right? Because and this is why. Like I was having the argument with my mom, who's a diehard Met fan. Shout out to my mom.
Mom Dukes.
Having the argument, she was like, "But if you guys need the pitching, why don't you trade for it?" I was like, "Ma, I'm not trying to help you guys get better." That was my whole standpoint and my argument. I'm not trying to trade 3 players to the Mets that's going to be in their everyday lineup for the next 5, 6 years, making you guys better. That's just something as a selfish fan. Hindsight is 50-50, right? Because we would have made that trade right now if you would have asked me if I could jump back in. If I could jump back in a time machine and just convince Brian Cashman to make that trade, I would do that. But no, I'm with you. What about you, Grace? What was your thoughts on that?
I would trade Spencer Jones so fast it would make your head spin.
Smart.
I can't believe that we are still holding on to this kid. He's not even in AAA. This is a AA outfielder. How many outfielders do we need? I mean, if the Astros would take Spencer Jones, y'all, I would be in Houston so fast. You don't understand. But they're not looking for an outfielder. They're looking for an infielder. I think they've offered maybe Ben Rice. Ben Rice, though, is truly a catcher. He just did first base a little bit last year. I don't know if they would be willing to move some of our other pieces. I don't know how much y'all know about the depth of the Yankees farm system, but
I think Clark Smith is a starting pitcher that's been in the big leagues, right? Roger Arias is a prospect, top prospect in Major League Baseball. That's somebody they can have for the future. If you want to send them Peraza as well, but I think it's going to have to be somebody that's in the Yankees top 20 prospects. That has to headline the trade, and then you add on whatever else you have to add on.
Yeah, I love Jason Dominguez, as everybody in our chat and everybody on the channel knows. Jason Dominguez, that's my boy. We're not trading him. He only because, and I'll tell you why. He's going to be a starter this year. So if we trade him, we got to go fill another hole. Yet another hole. We're creating another hole for ourselves. Now, if you want to talk about somebody who's in AAA, AA, single A, whatever, we're going to have a conversation. And there's nobody off the table, to me, in my opinion, in order for us to go win number 28 next year, while the American League is open, while Garrett Cole is healthy, while Aaron Judge is healthy, while Giancarlo Stanton is still on 2 feet. Okay, because that's all he needs. But yeah, for me, I would definitely be having that conversation. And frankly, Mark, thank you. Frankly, what I want to say is to all of us, myself included, I'm not certain that Major League general managers think how we think as fans, in the way of, I'm not trading so-and-so to them because then they'll be so good. I'm not sure they think like that. I think it's more like, I'm trying to make my team the best I can make my team. Y'all worry about yourselves. I don't think that certain trades are off the table because they're afraid that they're going to play defense and block teams from getting certain acquisitions. I'm just not sure that it works that way. I don't know, but I'm suspicious that is just a fan perspective, perhaps.
Yeah, and 10 years ago I was a bit dumb, so that's why I didn't want to make that move. No, I said that, but
to you guys as Yankee fans, is there anyone that's untouchable to you guys? Is there one you do not want to trade at all?
Yeah, the Martian.
Okay.
That's because he's going to be in the starting lineup next year.
MLB ready.
Okay.
Yeah.
He was ready a year ago. The Yankees just always alligator arms their prospects a little bit.
I can't believe they picked Verdugo over him. Please don't get me started, Pete.
Well, when it comes to Jason Dominguez, I think if Jason Dominguez never had that Tommy John surgery, I don't think Verdugo would have been a Yankee. I don't think Verdugo would have been a Yankee. The game plan was you get Alex Verdugo, you let Jason Dominguez rehab. It's just when Jason Dominguez came back, he got injured again, right? So we got stuck with Alex Verdugo. No, but for me, like Grace said, of course, obviously Jason Dominguez. So I don't want to talk about him. For me, it will be Lombard Jr., right? George Lombard Jr., he comes from a baseball family. His father played for the Detroit Tigers. This is a kid that he was a top recruit for Vanderbilt. Everybody said that if he would have went to Vanderbilt, it would have been 1 and done or 2 and done, that he would have been a top 3 pick in the next draft that he would have went into. He grew up a Yankee fan. The Yankees drafted him late in the first round out of high school, hoping that he would have signed with them. He chose to sign with the Yankees. So George Lombard Jr., his defense is major league ready. His defense is major league ready. His baseball IQ is major league ready. It's just they just want to see more improvement with the bat. He has a strikeout rate that they want him to work on. So I can see George Lombard Jr. being a surprise over the next couple of seasons. Like I said, he was a top prospect coming out of high school. He was an early commit to Vanderbilt. It's just he decided to go to the Yankees instead of committing to Vanderbilt. We're gonna cut it off in about 7 minutes. We're gonna do the last round, last thoughts, right? So Al, I'll throw it over to you. Let's get your last takes real quick, and then let people know where they can find you on social media, and then throw it over to Pete as well. Pete, thank you so much for joining us this morning. I know you got to work with this knucklehead Theo Al. He's everybody's favorite Theo. This is my guy. But go ahead, Al.
Wait, ask Pete how much fun it is working with me. Come on, Pete. Like, tell him, bro.
I listen to you guys, and I can hear Pete having a good time whenever he chimes in. So you don't have to convince me.
All right.
We have a blast. Like, as soon as I get my schedule, I'm like, this is when I'm working. So if you're working these shifts, let me know. So I get
it's a bromance.
People over there, but Al is extra special.
Thank you. I'll be on Saturday night, 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. 888-808-1019 on the Fan. I don't know who I'm working with 10 to midnight, but I know Rami's going to be joining me after midnight, so that should be fun and get his take on the whole Soto thing. Listen, don't take it personal, Yankee fans, when I say stuff to you guys, because you guys have said a lot of shit to me over the years. So it's about time that I get to return serve right back at your asses. You guys deserve it for all the chirping you do. 27. I go by how many rings you've seen in your lifetime. Not when there was 2 major league teams around, no black players, no Latino players, and Jesus was in the league back then. So you got to stop that, okay? Stop the 27 thing. It is how many you've seen in your lifetime. I respect the Yankees organization. Always have and always will. They win. I appreciate that because my Mets organization, prior to Steve Cohen, it wasn't about winning. It was about bullshit and fluffing stuff here and there. So it's fun going back and forth, Yankees, Mets offseason. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter once the season starts, Mets, Yankees. Hopefully, I want Subway Series for the next 10 World Series in a row. Let's do it. Yankees, go do what you got to do in the American League. Hopefully, we can do in the National League in a gauntlet of a National League. And let's hope we meet up in October so we can talk some more trash when it really, really counts.
Love it. Go ahead, Pete.
So good. Nah, you can feel the energy last year when the Mets are making their run. The Yankees were obviously winning the AL East. Baseball is so much better when both of these teams are good. Like, it's not even close. You need them both to be good because when one's good and the other one's bad, and you got half fan base is sad as hell trying to talk smack that doesn't make any sense, which is most of
us.
Yeah, it's been 98% of the time. When they're both good, it's electric. Look at these conversations we're having. My group chat's been firing off for a week now about this Juan Soto thing, still popping up once a day, and we talk smack to each other. The best part when we actually can, hug each other, dap each other up at the end of the day and say, I love you as friends, but I hate you as a fan. And that's a beautiful thing. We need that in New York. It's the same thing with the Jets and the Giants. When they're both good, football is great. Football sucks right now in the Giants. It's horrible. What are we doing? I wish I was a Commanders fan like Uncle Al over here.
Yeah.
Come on. But no, for real though, I still firmly believe that the Mets path is more difficult. So all the smack that I've spoken to all my Yankee fan friends, all the flip-flopping I've called you, all the things that I've tried to do to make you feel bad about yourself this week, your path is right there. So the Yankees have to do some more things. The Mets have to do some more things. So we had a lot of fun today, but at the end of the day, the lineups are not set. The rotations are not set. We have a lot to look forward to, but it's so much better when both of these teams are good. So for me, Pete Kennedy, you can find me at Subway Sports Talk, which is my podcast on all the podcast app, YouTube, all that stuff. Subway Sports Talk again on Twitter, socials, all that stuff. And I'm Pete Kennedy. I'll be on the fan. I'll be producing. I'm not hosting. Producing for Pete Hoffman, midnight to 5 a.m. Another Mets fan in the business. What's up? Thank you guys for having me.
Of course. Grace, final takes, and we gotta be out of here.
Pete, that's exactly what I was going to say, and I'll echo your sentiments there. I think, baseball belongs in New York, the greatest city in the world. It's better when the Mets and the Yankees are fighting it out, and baseball is competitive and exciting, and you can have these conversations with your friends on the internet or in your real life. I mean, it's been so hard just being number one for so long. There's been no competition. Red Sox are nowhere to be found. I mean, the Rays, what happened to them? The Jays are all talk and no substance. I mean, the Orioles still have yet to come to the party. I don't know. I'm excited to have a rival again. Just kidding, y'all. But for real, thank you so much for coming on today. I'm happy. Juan Soto aside, I'm happy that the Mets are going to be seeing some bright future, some promising. It's good for baseball in general. It's great for the city of New York. It's great for baseball. So Juan Soto aside, congratulations. And we'll see you in the Subway Series for sure.
Yeah, I like Al said, I want to see Subway Series for the next 10, 12 years, right? It's, when like Pete, to echo what Pete said, and I always bring this up, when the Yankees and Mets are both good, it just makes the rivalry in the city so much better. And my mom's, who I say is a Met fan, once the Juan Soto news happened, and my mom figured out how to send gifts and memes and shit, I gotta take her phone away from her. She sent me the Homer Simpson meme of him hiding in the bushes, but with the Yankee face, the Yankee logo on Homer, like hiding in the bush. I'm like, Ma, where are you getting this shit from? How do you even know how to do this? She's like, don't worry about it. But no, as somebody who,
the flowers with my condolences.
Yes, he sent me the flowers.
Hector showed me the text.
He stole your phone and changed his name just to mess with you.
Oh my god!
But my mom, I grew up with her, single mom, right? She was a Met fan. She forced me to be a Yankee fan so she could have that rivalry inside the household.
That's awesome. That's actually nice.
Because everybody in my family are Met fans. I'm the only one that's a Yankee fan, right? And she forced that onto me. She taught me how to score the game. She taught me what shortstop, what second base was. So everything that I know about baseball is because of my mother. So I always want to take some time to give her credits on that. But Al, appreciate you like always, brother. I love you, my man. Pots and pans, Pete Kennedy. Go ahead, Al.
Give me 1 sec. I'm actually going to use this. I wrote this down at the end of my opening tomorrow night. So if you're listening now and you listen later, get ready. This is going to be it. For Yankee fans, if you miss Juan Soto in a Yankee uniform, there's MLB The Show. He's always going to be in a Yankee uniform whenever you want him.
Oh man, thank you so much, Al. You know what? I actually was going to play MLB The Show, and now I'm not going to. Like always, folks, hit the like button, hit the subscribe. We are sitting at 4,609 subscribers on the chat. Appreciate all of you guys. Shout out to Forever Ghost in the building. My guy Anthony Subway to Shay is in the building. How you doing?
Anthony!
The Cat Mama channel is in the building. Anthony, we got to get you up here, brother. I miss my guy Ant. Carlos is in the building. Anthony Ribeiro's in the building. Erica Garcia, how you doing? Consigliere Joel is in the building. Nathaniel Crenshaw, I appreciate you. Johnny Boy says, Johnny! Frank White. Theo Al, let them know Soto's gonna be eating mango con caviar now. Oy se bebe. Absolutely. Mark Maker in the building. Pen is in the building. Who else we got in the building? Can't forget Double A. Shout out to Double A in the building. Pete Kennedy. Cashman issue is his ego. Makes him want to win every trade, which turned other GMs off. Absolutely, Double A. You hit it right on the head. But until next time, guys, I'm Hector.
I'm Grace Monroe.
Pete Kennedy.
It's your favorite Theo Al Cintron.
And we will be back, Yanks Morning Brew, on the next episode. And until next time, drink some water, say something positive about yourself. Yankee fans, go outside and touch some fucking grass. The world is not coming to an end. Deuces, we out. Al, go stub your toe, Al. Fuck out.
You fought well yesterday. Your style is unorthodox.